Let's have fun.
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 One would have been, I think you call it Chandler Field, which is the lower field where the baseball diamond is. That was all rocks and gravel when I was here. And before we played intramural soccer, they lined us all up and made us walk across the field picking up rocks and pushing the rocks. That's why you have grass there now, because I picked up all the rocks.
Soccer, just a lot of fond memories of playing soccer down in Chandler.
Usually a friend's room. Probably Joe Caton's room we hung out in.
Joe Caton's room, which was the center of a salon that went on and on and on for 3 years that I can remember, and ended up in the Alamo with a spectacular breaking of windows, one for each and every college we did not get into.
By a room in the Alamo, which is now the laundromat. But the room was a great room.
So my favorite spot on the campus would definitely have to be the Alamo. I actually lived there as a freshman and as a senior. For me, it represented the beginning and the ending, this sort of, to my whole Webb experience. And it was really meaningful. So, the Alamo.
Well, my favorite spot on campus was Colin Powell's dorm room. For the 3 years of campus that we were there, always lived right next to each other and have continued that sense of camaraderie in Colin's room for, God, coming on what, 15 years now.
I always enjoyed hanging out at the dorms, and my favorite dorm was my last one, which was Reynolds.
My favorite place, probably the Alamo Lawn, back when it was all seniors, pretty cool dorm, kind of dangerous for underclassmen to go in there.
Let's say in the Alamo, when I was a senior, our friend Chris Barris had a room there. We were day students, he was a boarder. We got to spend time in his room and listen to Pink Floyd and listen to great music and play backgammon and have fun.
My favorite spot is the auditorium, specifically the stage, because that's where the musicals were performed.
The gym up at the top of the hill. You can see a high view of it.
I was kind of a basketball fiend. Couldn't stop playing, so spent as much time in the gym as possible.
It was Hooper Center. That's where all of us in our class would get together, we'd spend time and just, decompress before going to one of Dookie's classes or something. It was a great spot.
It was just a great place for everyone to hang out, primarily to hang out and have fun with their friends.
Back then we only had like one kind of dinky pool table and one kind of dinky ping pong table, but our whole class spent all of their time in Hooper and at Junior Fountain, which I feel like was a part-time job for everybody.
The Redwood Stump, because it had 2,000 years of history written right into the stump itself.
Favorite place was the museum, the basement of the Jackson Library.
The basement of the Jackson Library, because back then it was both where we had the museum and where I did fossil preparation.
Our class, the class of '93, we started the project to refinish the wood panels in the library. So we spent a lot of time in Jackson Library with metal toothbrushes and different tools and things like that. So, and then in the basement of Jackson Library, I spent many hours because I was in chamber singers and the chorus, and we used to practice down there.
As a day student, that is where I made my home away from home. It's where I spent most of my time when I would come to campus, because I didn't have a room to study in, so I'd go to the library to study.
We used to hang out there. They had a little couch and 2 chairs in front of a little fireplace, and they'd have a fire going in it. Do they still do that?
And that would probably be the track, because I had a lot of quiet moments up there that were good reflections on my time there.
The Price Dining Hall, where obviously you spent many hours as well.
Because they always had the snacks out and eat lots of bananas.
Okay, my favorite spot on campus was a set of stairs right next to what is now the library. You sit on the wall on either side, but you were like right at the grass level, and you would all sit there and talk
Since you are the legacy of the Blue and Gold, Stone Hut is where we used to publish the Blue and Gold. It's down in that area below the Alamo. So that is a place I have a lot of memories of.
It's where Lawrence Macmillan did his English classes, because I came here from England for a semester, and it was a great spot to talk to everyone else in the class and get to know him.
I like the tennis courts. I always had a good time playing tennis here. And, a lot of good friends on the tennis team, and I think tennis courts were my favorite spot on campus.
My favorite spot on campus was the art room and the Oaks just outside of it. I spent a lot of my time there with Mr. Maffris, and I just love the way the Oaks kind of create this path and also this area that just feels like kind of a natural haven on campus. It was always very peaceful and quiet.
Well, I liked the art studio because I taught in a classroom that was near the art studio, and I would go in. I liked to go out and hang out in the art studio when Blair Maffris didn't have a class in there. And at one point, I took some of my senior students who were reluctantly studying poetry, and we did a special project in the art studio.
It felt sort of tucked away, but it was an amazing place where creativity was encouraged and inspired. I also love the oak trees down around that part of campus.
My favorite spot on campus was Webb Studio. I was a DJ there junior and senior year, as well as a manager my senior year, and just had a lot of memories there with a lot of good friends.
I'm in the library, honestly, because as a day student, I was just trying to cram in a lot of my homework getting done throughout the week, so I spent a lot of time in here.
My favorite spot is the Vivian Webb Chapel.
Yeah, chapel, I was always kind of in awe of. It was remarkable that it was unlocked and had been built by the man himself and was part of our everyday life.
It was a labor of love and to Thompson Webb's wife, Vivian, and to the Lord, which I thought was really impressive. He built the whole thing by hand.
It was a serene setting, a great way to start the day, and really appreciated what it represented in terms of the students that helped Mr. Webb build that chapel.
Outside the chapel, just because you have the shade, the trees, it's just, I don't know, it's a really cool spot to connect with people.
It was a place where I loved people's chapel talks, and it was a place where you saw a profound and deep side of the other students that you didn't necessarily see anywhere else.
Steps coming down from the chapel. Part of what was cool was how then that transitioned back into your regular life when you all spilled out of the chapel and walked down the chapel, this windy, the switchbacks back down out of the chapel with your friends.
My favorite spot on campus was the chapel tower. We'd go there at night and sit there and talk and sometimes smoke or so and have private conversations, and it was overlooking all of campus, and it was so peaceful and also kind of daring to be up there, and I have very good memories to that.
My favorite spot on campus is probably the oak tree from the field. My favorite spot is the area behind the campus where the trails are at.
Webb was its own little microcosm, and we had this wonderful place to leave campus and get above it all. I like that quite a bit. So I was in cross country for 4 years and got to know all the trails, and it's absolutely beautiful.
My favorite spot on campus is definitely the pool. I probably spent most of my time there between swimming and water polo. Had a lot of good times there, so I'd have to say the pool for sure.
My favorite place on campus is definitely the Crossroads. When I was a student, it was a really nice co-ed area to hang out. Beautiful to see people finishing class or already done with activities. It was just a nice, spontaneous place to see your friends.
Well, you know where the Black Box is.
That used to be I think at one point they called it the dungeon, but before that it was the dark room for the photo club, and there was a dark room in there for Alice Bale, so we could develop pictures and things like that.
The editorial sort of group was at the top of the ramp down into the dark room, and I was down the ramp in the dark room, and we would go back and forth, and I'd bring them prints, and they would look at the prints and say, okay, let's think about this.
We had this huge wall. I probably should say this, but written on the wall was a poem. I'll tell you. It said, head in a cloud, totally plowed, heard a dog bow. Wow. And we just, that was in the upper left-hand corner, and that's it. There's my memory.
You know, it's not so much things or places as just the school, you know, the philosophy, the kinds of ideas that developed during my time here with my classmates and others in other classes that were around me.